Okay. So in this schematic, right, one can argue that the genres are the things that stick out, and then uptakes are the lines. Now, remember that Friedman said that uptake is the bidirectional relation that holds between genres. Okay? And I think, again, what's interesting about this is that it turns what is vertical into something that is horizontal. And so if you think about uptake agency, it's not about whether something is more or less agentive. Every genre performance is a performance of genre uptake, and it's an agencies at work. I like to think of uptakes as having uptake profiles. Right? Every genre comes sort of with an uptake profile, where you can perform a genre in a very prototypical kind of way. So within it's sort of close to the prototype uptake. And then it's got a limit point, at which point if you go past that, you're no longer doing something with that genre as people would recognize it. Okay? So it allows us to think about uptakes on a continuum. Okay? And why some students, or whoever, right, performs a genre here rather than here or rather than here. So it's not more or less agency, but different kinds of agencies. Okay, why are some students performing a very conventional uptake of a genre versus some who are doing something more radical? What's at play in making those happen? Now, there's also for me an interesting connection here to uptake memory. Deleuze and Guattari argue that long-term memory is kind of arborescent. It is ordered and hierarchized like a tree. It has narrative, it sort of follows, becomes a construction. But short-term memory is more rhizomatic, more discontinuous, improvisational, nomadic. Thinking of genres as rhizomes invites us not only to focus on what Friedman has called the long, ramified, intertextual memory of uptake, but also the short, nomadic, more materially inflected memories that also inform how we encounter and take up genres in less predictable, more embodied and emotioned ways, as connected to associations of feeling, authority, and so on. Okay. Such an approach to genre uptake examines how forms of cognition become sedimented at a corporeal level, where they are repeated as habits, lodged in bodily memory, as much as in cognitive memory. Okay? And inflected as such. In her call for more research on transfer of prior genre knowledge, Amy David acknowledges, quote, that the mechanism for writers selecting antecedent genres, okay, so this is an antecedent genre, and then they're trying to learn a new genre. The mechanism for that taking up is not straightforward. Writers may choose their antecedent genres for many reasons, not necessarily related to the similarity of situation, including such reasons as their comfort level with a particular genre, or their resistance to a teacher, or the genre that the teacher promotes, unquote. The affective dimension of uptake is pretty powerful. And we found, Mary Jo Reif and I, in a research study that we did on how students use prior genre knowledge when they encounter new genres, revealed to us how uptakes are informed by memories and histories of participation in school, students' sense of authority, attachments to prior successes and failures, that was a big one, and confidence levels. We see an example of this in the work that Susan Jarrett and her colleagues have done with knowledge transfer. In examining how students encounter writing tasks and draw on prior knowledge, Jarrett and her colleagues identify the important role of what they call pedagogical memory, that it plays in students' ability to recollect and make connections, or not, between new writing tasks and prior writing instruction. In one memorable case, Jarrett et al. Describe a student who recalls her disappointment about the location of her composition course more than anything she learned in the class. This is a quote from the student in the interview. "Wow, I'm sorry. I don't really remember a lot about first year writing. That was my first year at UCI. It was in a trailer. Laughter. Right? Just like that. I was like, I'm going to university and I'm in a trailer? That's a little disheartening. Now, knowledge transfer is a complex, multifaceted phenomenon. And here we see how material conditions and associations of feeling inform the student's relation to her writing course. And I would hypothesize also to the way she relates to and takes up, or not, the genre knowledge she learned in that class. Learning something in a trailer affects how you take it up. Okay? Agency and genre performance are not only a matter of genre knowledge. Okay? So things like, so again here, like the trailer has a agentive power there.